and continued to say that I was not under arrest. Now,
accusing you and your mother of making zero efforts to facilitate communication between.
Long before any of these cases became a case, somebody was writing things down. A prosecutor keeping a record of what he told a suspect. A husband emailing a parenting coordinator whenever his ex-wife was a minute late with the children. A public official texting about a reporter's articles. None of it was written to be evidence. It was written out of grievance or habit or procedure, and all of it was still there afterwards, dated and unable to change its story. Not a ranking. 3 cases and the paper that came first. All real courtroom tape. We start in Los Angeles. Something unusual is happening here. The prosecutor and the witness are arguing about their own past conversations because John Lewin was personally in the room for them. He puts it to Durst that what he urged him to do was tell the truth, and that he said plainly he could offer nothing in return. Durst disagrees and describes it as a negotiation over a case that had not been filed. They cannot both be right, and there is a record. Durst was convicted in September 2021 and sentenced to life without parole.
That it was voluntary if you spoke to us, correct?
several times.
And isn't it true, Mr. Durst, that what I urged you to do was to tell the truth, and did I not tell you repeatedly that, Mr. Durst, I can't offer you anything?
You definitely did not tell me repeatedly that you could not offer me anything.
So it's your belief that you and I were having plea bargains on a case that had not been filed, is that?
This is your thing with not being filed. My whole experience in Orleans was being told stuff that was misleading. When I was arrested, I said I was arrested. I was under arrest. The FBI agent said, "You're not under arrest." The FBI agent handcuffed me to a table and continued to say that I was not under arrest. Now, this whole question of whether I've been charged or not been charged, it was obvious to me that if I had not been charged, I was going to be charged. And this is legal language.
So your position was that even though you're a non-lawyer and a wealthy man, that you decided to engage in plea negotiations with a lawyer during your first interview instead of having your attorneys do it. That's your position?
I thought if I made a deal with this person would go ahead and stick to the deal.
What was the deal you were trying to get?
I was trying to get out of Louisiana.
Well, Mr. Durst, isn't it true that what you proposed was, if I tell you about Susan and about where Kathy is, what can you do for me? That's a paraphrase of what you said, correct? Oh,
I remember that was at the very end of the interview, and I spoke very carefully. I said that if we made a plea bargain and I wanted to make Ann McCormick happy, that I would have to say what happened to Kathy. At no point did I say that I knew what happened to Kathy.
Mr. Durst, how could you say what happened to Kathy if you didn't know what happened to Kathy?
I was speaking in your kind of language. If we make a plea bargain, you're going to want to know what happened to Kathy. That is different from me saying that I know what happened to Kathy and I don't know what happened to Kathy.
So let me understand this. So what you're saying is, you were trying to make a plea bargain where you offer to say what happened to Kathy and what happened to Susan, but in the end, you didn't know what happened to Kathy or Susan. So how are you ever going to be able to make a plea bargain, Mr. Durst?
Well, back then, it seemed like if I kept if I said enough, can't find the word, enough,
The word lie? Is that the word you're looking for?
no,
You interrupted me.
incriminating. If I said enough incriminating things, this DA from Los Angeles would figure out that I wanted to make a plea bargain.
But if, Mr. Durst, if you're telling me that you're proposing that you wanted to make Ann McCormick happy, and if you're proposing as a part of some plea deal you are negotiating, then wouldn't you have to, Mr. Durst, have the knowledge of what happened to Kathy in order to fulfill your side of the deal?
No.
Please explain how that would work. I'm not
Well,
understanding.
I'm not exactly sure how it would work, and you never took any of the bait anyway. At no point did you say, well, if you do this, this, and this, I will agree to try to help you do this, this, and this. At some point, I said to you, I've been diagnosed with having 5 years left to live. So that means unless you can give me more life, you're going to have to come up with something that I'm happy with now.
I'm going to go on to another area, Mr. Durst. Have you ever lied under oath before?
Yes,
Fair to say, you've repeatedly lied under oath. Is that correct?
that's incorrect.
Well, haven't you done it in prior sworn testimony and in prior sworn affidavits, correct?
Incorrect.
Okay. Have you previously lied in prior sworn testimony?
Yes,
Have you previously lied in prior sworn affidavits?
I would have to know what kind of affidavit we're talking about.
Well,
I
I'm going to
don't
get there.
remember.
Okay. How about this one? February 7th, 1983, you filed an affidavit with the Surrogate Court of New York. Do you remember that affidavit?
No.
Great, let's put it up.
You want to mark this?
Yes.
People text in order, please. 295.
This is the texture of a bitter divorce entered into evidence. Wendi Adelson describes an arrangement where being 1 minute late meant a complaint to the parenting coordinator, and the lawyer walks her through the filings that resulted. She has never been charged with anything. What the questions are circling is not what she did, but how much pressure the paperwork itself was generating around her. Her brother Charlie was convicted of Dan Markel's murder in 2023. Her mother Donna was convicted in September 2025.
Calls with the kids to each other when you didn't have the children. Do you remember him complaining about that?
I do. I remember if I was 1 minute late, he would contact the parenting coordinator and complain that I was in violation.
That was a pretty regular complaint of his in this era of these filings, wasn't it?
Yes.
And when he sent an email, for example, 64N, let's see if we have that. Alleging these sorts of violations and including, quote, accusing you and your mother of making zero efforts to facilitate communication between he and the kids. Did you forward this email to your mother?
I don't remember if I did or not.
And during this time period, did Dan Markel send you quite a few emails pleading with you to play nice? For example, March 7th of 2013, Wendi, I really regret that things have gotten to the place where they are. Do you think we could try to resolve more issues directly with each other to prevent so much of the unnecessary tension and cost? Things like that.
Yes.
Okay. But then you didn't seem to be able to actually play nice with each other, even though it seems like maybe that's both what you wanted, at least at certain points.
I was always trying to play nice.
Well, you were threatening to hold him in contempt of court.
I wasn't threatening to hold him in contempt. That's what my lawyer filed. That's what happens
Well,
when
your lawyer represents you, doesn't she, Mrs. Adelson?
She does, but I wasn't threatening him.
Did you cease all Skype communication between Dan Markel and the boys on March 12th of 2013?
I don't remember that, no.
Tab 54, please.
It looks like my attorney advised me to do that.
Did you cease all Skype conversations between Dan Markel and the boys?
Again, I don't remember. It's been a very long time. But if my attorney advised me to do it, then I probably did it.
Okay. And the day that you filed that motion to enforce the marital settlement agreement and hold Dan Markel in contempt, see if I can find that. What was the date of that filing?
It looks like it was October 31st, 2013.
Was that the same date that you backed out of the contract to buy a house here in Tallahassee?
I don't remember if it was the same date, but at that point I didn't have the money I needed to buy the house because Danny didn't pay what he was supposed to.
Okay, but you don't remember which day you backed out of buying the house?
I don't.
Could it have been the same day that this was filed? Halloween of 13.
It may have been.
Okay, and was it Charlie, your brother, who talked you out of buying the house?
No, I didn't have the money to buy the house.
So you don't remember him discussing that with you?
No.
Okay. And did your mom have a position one way or the other on whether you would buy the house?
I don't remember.
The image that I just had up there, was this image sent to you on October 31st? How did this get onto your cell phone dated October 31st?
It looks like something my brother would have sent me at some point. I don't remember if it was what day it was, but I remember seeing that picture.
Okay, do you have any reason to dispute the metadata associated with it on your phone?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and you recognize your brother in this photo?
I do.
And who's the woman he's pictured with here?
Katie.
Is that Catherine McBanoa?
Yes.
So did your brother at any time send you this picture? Not at any time. Did your brother on October 31st send you this picture and basically tell you not to buy the house because you weren't going to be living in Tallahassee much longer?
I don't remember him ever telling me not to buy the house or that I wasn't going to be living in Tallahassee. I really wanted to buy that house.
Do you remember, after all the drama with the Skype, asking your mom, let's see if I can find it here, to help you work on the Skype thing because it was becoming a real problem between you and Mr. Markel?
I honestly don't remember, but I see this email and I must have sent this.
And then a few months later, in February of 14, Mr. Markel files a motion to enforce marital settlement agreements, and that we touched on that already. That was alleging that you committed fraud on the court during the original settlement. Remember that?
I do. I remember him saying that my attorney helped perpetrate a fraud.
He did. He suggested that the court should send a strong message to you about your malfeasance by awarding him the entirety of the assets that he alleged were undisclosed. Do you remember that?
I do.
And did your mom view that filing?
I don't remember.
Isn't that the one she responded to? We need a plan of attack. We need to aggravate him the way he's trying to aggravate you.
I remember we just looked at that. I just didn't remember what it was in response to.
Okay. And did you respond to his allegations?
I would
In
have,
court. In a court filing.
we must have responded in a court filing to that, because if someone accuses you of fraud,
Robert Tellez ran an elected office, and a newspaper had been publishing stories about how he ran it. Here the state puts his own text messages in front of him and asks a very simple question. How did he feel about those articles at the time? Note that much of this segment is the messages themselves on screen, because that is what is being read out. He was convicted in August 2024 of the murder of the reporter Jeff German and sentenced to life with parole eligibility after 28 years. He maintains his innocence and has appealed.
Everyone, please be seated.
Does the state stipulate to the presence? Mr. Cassidy?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
Thank you. Sir, you had a chance to review those text messages?
Yes, sir.
That's a fair and accurate depiction of some of the text messages you have with Nicole. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes, sir.
At this time, we ask that these be admitted, State's proposed 376.
No objection.
So again, just to set the stage, like how are you feeling in early August about Jeff German and his articles?
Like I said, I don't know that I thought any way about Jeff German in particular.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. All right. So, we're just publishing these. Zoom in. So that's just the ones in green. That's you, correct?
Yes.
That's just the first page that goes back to August 17th of 2021. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. So, this message is from June 15th. That's the day of the primary, or at least the day after the primary, correct?
Yes, sir.
I think you state, isn't it true, you state that good morning, full results aren't in yet. It's about a three-way tie with me last by around 2,000 votes. The precincts I'm counting on aren't in yet. And Nicole says, praying, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you say, me too.
Yes.
Turning to what's marked as page 64, just on the actual pagination. We look at this bottom email at 6:15 at 12 o'clock p.m. She writes to you, folks are prancing around like you conceded. Did you? Do you remember her writing that to you?
Not until I see it now, but it's been a while.
Okay. And then your response is, isn't it true your response was, no, I'll check the website to see if a winner was declared. And she responds, okay, correct?
Yes.
I think you indicate that if I lost, I will protect you until you can get a new position. Is that
Yes.
right? And she responds, I appreciate that. Is that correct?
Yes.
It isn't true, then you say, I'm so sorry, Nicole, I tried so hard, I almost made a comeback, but it's done, correct?
Right.
And that's at 3:16 p.m. on the 15th, isn't that right?
Right.
And you say here, unfortunately, too many people bought the lies, isn't that right?
Right.
And when you're saying that, you're referring to the voters, correct?
Yeah.
And the lies were propagated by those articles, correct?
Yes.
That Mr. Gehrman wrote.
Right.
look down here at the end, she says, "I'm so sorry. Will you work until the end of the year or resign?" Isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
She says, "Thank you for believing me." Isn't that right?
Yes.
Fair to say she cared for you and how you treated her in the office, correct?
Right.
All right. And you told her, in fact, "I very much believe in you. You have been my best employee. I'm so sorry that I couldn't pull it off." Isn't that correct?
Right.
And she lets you know that you fought hard. Isn't that right?
Right.
And we see here on 6/15, you even say to her, "I'll stay on until the end of the year, although if they aren't messing with you, I don't know that I'll spend a ton of time in the office," correct?
Right.
Essentially ceding power to Rita Reed, correct?
Right.
And Rita Reed is friendly to Compass Realty, correct?
Right.
And so your intentions were to step away from that office or lower your profile even as early as June 15th of 2022.
Right.
So you would be less of a threat to Compass Realty even then, correct? Because you'd be stepping away and not spending a ton of time in the office.
No, sir. The evidence proves otherwise.
Okay. And then we look here at text on June 21st. Nicole says, "Now Alicia is in the other cubicle counting the files that were left in here. These people are so sick. They spend half the day trying to get you instead of working." The you she's referring to is yourself, correct?
I don't know if it was that or, generally saying you in that sense, like, because I don't have files in a cubicle.
Okay.
So it might have been, that perception that, I don't know how to explain that. I think you get it.
Contextually, she's talking about the old guard, correct?
She is talking about them, but as far as whether she's talking about herself or me, I don't know.
Understood. But she believes these people are sick, is that right?
That's her opinion, and, they did some pretty tough stuff.
Well, and it appears you share that same opinion. You say yes, like they think it all still matters, correct?
Right, like they're still trying to sabotage me, but it's pointless at this point, right?
Well, you say it's pointless, but we'll get to that in a second.
Sure.
You then also say she's probably trying to get fodder to pass to the reporter, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So the reporter is still on your mind, isn't that right?
Just from the standpoint that they're still trying to concoct things, and that's why I decided to stay away from the office so they couldn't concoct anything anymore.
Because the articles were damaging, correct?
They were damaging, yes.
Professionally and personally.
Primarily professionally, because obviously I had to figure out something else to do for work, which, again, I'm a lawyer, so I guess, hang my shingle if I can, do whatever I can.
And that's a really interesting point. On August 8th, we've seen how that's the day you get notified that Gehrman wants stuff between you and Rita, correct?
Right. Mm-hmm.
I want to look at what's marked on the bottom is page 110.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it true that you tell Nicole at 12:28, you're dealing with a lot, I'm sorry. For me, this may have a long-term impact. I have people that no longer talk to me. Also, I'm worried in this digital age that the articles could potentially follow.
3 paper trails, none of them created to be evidence. That is what makes this kind of material so difficult to answer. A person can explain what they meant by a message, but not that they sent it, or when, or how many. It is also worth noticing how ordinary the grievances were at the start. A scheduling complaint, a critical article, a disputed conversation. Everything here is public record courtroom tape. Subscribe for more real case files told with respect for the people at the center of them.